Yeah, I've been waiting for this.
Hey guys, press any button. Now last time we did some bone influence stuff, so we made sure that everything was sort of rigged up properly on our character, and we made a cap to that. We finished what we were doing on that. This part is going to be a lot more interesting. It's going to be a bit more involved. This is going to be animation, and so let's just jump straight into it. So I've got my character down here in my assets in the inspector. You can see I've been messing around with this character a little bit, but we're going to go into the idle animation because that's less distracting. Alright, so this is the character that we've been working on, the little copy that I made here, like we're on Blue Peter or something. And this is the finished product, so I've gone ahead and done everything that I need to, so you can have an assurance that I actually know what I'm doing. So what are we going to do first? Well, we're going to make some IK for our character. Now, before I was a little bit confused, and I may still be a little bit confused. I thought that IK for our character would mean that, you know, when they have one leg off of a ledge, they would sort of do like a knee bend kind of thing. Because, you know, in video games, say like PS2 era video games, you'll be standing on the edge of like a cliff, and half your characters off of that cliff, but they're static, as if like there's nothing happening. But then you get games like GTA 4, Uncharted. I'm pretty sure I've spoken about this stuff before, where, you know, there's a little bit of diversity in it. Dark Souls is a really good one if you're of that caliber to just like look at that inverse kinematics sort of working there. Now it's a bit different here. The inverse kinematics, from what I've seen, the main benefit is that it actually helps us in animating our characters. So it's just going to make the process of moving our legs for our character a little bit easier. We can also attach it to our arms, but I haven't done that for this animation that I've gone ahead for. And you know what, it probably would have helped me to just simplify the process, but I'll show you what's happening with the legs so we don't get confused and take up too much time. Alright, so inverse kinematics. It's pretty good. It's pretty much going to allow us to move our character like a ragdoll. Now the first thing what we're going to do, make sure you got the animation window available in your project. So you're going to go to window, animation, and then that's going to open up that window for you. Drag it wherever you want. We're not going to touch that right now, maybe not in this part, depending on how long the recording goes. But what we are going to do is create an empty child game object for this bone here. So we want the end of the chain. We want the bone that's at the end of the chain. And really we just want manipulation of these two bones. I was going to name them scientifically. I'm not that guy. I'll get it wrong. I think this is the tibia, fibia, whatever. Thigh bone. We're going to be moving these things around. So this is going to be the end of the chain that we want to establish for our IK. So I'm going to right click on that bone in the inspector. You can see that it's highlighted there. And then we're going to create an empty game object. Make sure you got your gizmos enabled also, guys, in case you can't see your bone. If you're not able to see your bone, if things are like this, you just and you should be sorted. Alright, we're going to go over to the move tool, and we're going to move this game object right to the tip of the bone that's at the end of the chain, the bone that this is a child of. And you know what, we'll keep it as game object. I don't really see any benefit in changing that. Now we're going to double back on ourselves. We're going to go to the parent bone for the entire thing. The parent bone is very easy to identify if you've actually set it up properly, because one, you'll remember what bone it is, and two, it'll be the bone that if you toggle this little arrow here, it's going to hide all the other bones. So mine is the hip bone. I go to add component, and we're going to go to IK manager. Now this is going to just hold all of the information for our IK that we're setting up, our inverse kinematics, and it's going to allow us to add inverse kinematics in the first place. So under this we have IK solvers. The list is empty. We're going to hit that plus icon, and we're going to go to limb, because this is of course a limb, and things go weird when we do things the other way. Now this game object, we're going to click on this and we're going to drag it into effector. Now the temptation is to drag it into target. If you're following the documentation from the website, it will tell you to drag it into target, but I've seen that it's actually not beneficial and it doesn't work. So we're going to drag that into effector. So this is the transform from that, the empty game object, and we're going to drag that into the effector. And then we've got the target. We're going to go create target. Now create target is a beautiful thing because it's the end of that process. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that stanky leg. Right. Now let's move on to our next little bit, which is going to be just setting up our animation. So I'm going to say change the world, my final message, goodbye, to our little character there. And we're going to go straight to the character that I've been playing around with because it just makes things a little simpler. Now, as I said, let me double back actually. As I said, you need to add some animation. This is going to create an animator and an animation. So when you hit create here, you're going to have the option of making a new animation. You probably call it idle, run, whatever. And it's going to create an animator for your character. In fact, let me just do that with you. So I go create, call it idle, and then I save that. And great, we've got a little animation that we can mess around with. We've also got an animator, and you can see that idle is in there for our character. Well, we're not going to be using this character. As I said, change the world, my final message, goodbye. What we are going to be doing is using the character that is well beloved at this point, who has the idle animation attached to them. When you want to create a new animation, you just hit create new clip. I'm going to go to my running main animation, and I'm going to explain a couple of things that are going to help you set up the animation, because I see time is not on our side right now and I don't want to make this a long video, so I'll probably split this up a little bit. Okay, what are we talking about? What is new? All right, so I have everything here set up for my character, but you're going to see something more on the lines of we'll just make a shoot animation. So I make a new animation here because I want to demonstrate these things for you guys. So as you can see, there's really nothing that I can do with my character here. We're going to go to add property, and here you'll be able to find the bones. You find the bone by saying finding the parent bone and just opening it up so you can see all the children. And when I search through the children, I can find what I'm looking for. So let's start off with the IK pieces that we added. Now, I mentioned that IK makes it easier for us to animate our character, and it is very true. So we're going to go down to new limb solver 2D. Now, you're not going to get the transforms from the limb solver 2D because that's going to be attached to the actual base of the skeletal structure, that being our spine bot. We're going to go a little bit deeper, and we're going to go to new limb solver underscore target. That's the one that we want. Then we're going to go to transform, and we're going to select position. Now I'm going to do the same thing for the other leg. So I'm going to go to spine bot again, and this one's going to be called limb solver 1, and then we're going to go under that limb solver 2D 1 target is the important part, because otherwise you won't be able to actually use this to animate. And then you're going to go position. Great, so we've got some keyframes and nothing's happening. It's because we haven't done anything. Now the order in which we do these things is very finicky and it's quite annoying. To be honest, I've edited out all the stuff that I forgot, and you're just going to get the good stuff. Alright, so I'm going to move this, and then I'm going to add a keyframe, and that keyframe is going to hold that movement. So now we can see my leg has moved and then it snaps back. This is the original point. At the end we've got the original point, and then we've got the snap in the middle. If I did it the other way around, Unity would be like, I hate you and I don't want anything to do with you, and would just not allow us to animate this, and it gets really frustrating. but it's like a 2-minute fix anyway. All right, so let's move on to the next bit. We're going to add another property and we're going to look for another bone, something easy, quick to demonstrate. I'm thinking maybe the head bone. So we're going to search down through our bones, and you can see how tedious this would get if you didn't label your bones. It's also a good practice just to have it all open in the hierarchy over here, so you can actually see how things fall through. So I'm going for that head bone. So I'm going to just highlight that. That is under spine mid, which is attached to and pretty much I'm just going to be clicking until I find that spine top, neck, head. Right, we're going to move the head because it's nice and easy. It's a quick demonstration, and then we're going to get into the nitty gritty next part. So I'm going to hit rotation. And rotation, because what are we doing here? We are rotating these parts. I want to snap on it. All right, and that's pretty much the only difference there. So with IK, we're going to use the position. With everything else, we're going to use the rotation because everything else works by rotation. So I rotate the head like that, and then I'm going to add that keyframe. So we're going to hit add key. Hopefully it should snap back. And then rotate in, snap back, rotate in, and there we have it. We have a nice janky motion. All right guys, in the next part we're actually going to be finishing off a run animation, so I can go over with you in proper detail how these things work, but have a play around, of course, get used to it. I mean, these are your own projects. I can't really do these things for you. You know, gain them skills as I'll be gaining those skills. Press on and keep creating, guys.